Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we are going to be speaking about the Champions League draw. And the first thing that I'm gonna say is this. On paper, Barcelona are very fortunate. Very fortunate. Like if you really analyze Barcelona's road to Wembley, we can safely say that they have one of the easiest routes and one of the easiest draws. But here's going to be the catch though. Even though Barcelona do have one of the easiest draws, it does not mean it's going to be easy. All teams here are very competitive. All of the teams in this UCL bracket can knock out FC Barcelona, all of them. And the same thing is going to be said with Barcelona. Barcelona can knock out any of these teams. It goes either way. I just cannot believe that we are witnessing pure football. Like pure football is back. The OG Champions League campaigns, it has returned. Like we're no longer seeing like these weird teams going into the Champions League quarterfinals. It feels like we're watching a 2011 Champions League campaign with Arsenal, Bayern, Real Madrid, City, Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, PSG. Maybe we are missing an Italian team to make it feel like the OG Champions League campaigns, but overall, everybody here that's in the UCL brackets, they all know how to play proper football. Now, I want everybody to keep in mind that we are going to be playing football that is going to be played within a span of 180 minutes, meaning that it only takes one big error, whether it's a tactical error or like we're not mentally there or we put the wrong player for a certain game for us to be eliminated. Barcelona can be eliminated so easily by PSG if we do make 1 to 2 mistakes. It's just how the competition is. This is not a competition where it's formatted like the league, where everybody gets to play against each other twice throughout 6 months, aka the Super League. But we're not going to be talking about the Super League, right? This is a format where we only play against one team once within a span of 180 minutes. And if Barcelona do get one tactical thing wrong, it's going to really hurt Barcelona against PSG, and we might potentially go out on that game. It's just how it is. It's just how the Champions League is built. And so overall, I'm looking at all of these draws and anybody can progress. Everything here is a 50-50 chance. And most importantly, all of these games are great games. I can't stress that enough. I'm going to be watching all of them. So I know that many of you guys are going to want to hear me predict these draws. And another thing that I do want to say is that we can't predict this early from the games because whatever I'm saying now could change later. I don't know what Barcelona is going to be going through from a physical standpoint because we don't know what players are going to be available. And the same thing does apply for City, for Real Madrid, for Arsenal, for Dortmund, Atletico Madrid, for many clubs. It's just simply too early. And so I am going to go into further depth regarding the Barcelona versus PSG match in a few weeks. Not right now. We're just going to be talking about the overall broad predictions for these games. Starting with Dortmund and Atletico Madrid. I'm going to be saying Atletico Madrid will go over Dortmund because Lucho is just a master at knockout games. I think that if they have defeated a defensively minded Inter Milan, they can definitely defeat Borussia Dortmund. Like to me, Atletico Madrid are getting an easier game against Dortmund. It's just how it is because Inter Milan to me looked much stronger. And I do believe that Dortmund are going to be approaching Atletico much wider. They're going to be less compact and they're going to be more committed to attack and score goals, meaning that they're going to be leaving so much space behind them and Atletico Madrid can really hurt them. With Antoine Griezmann having a great work capacity like what we saw him do against Inter Milan, Memphis Depay can come in as like a impact sub and he also does amazing because he is on form. He has such high confidence right now that it came to a point where he took shots at Kanye West. I don't know why he did that. He was saying that you chose the wrong team to support, come and join Atletico Madrid. Like Memphis Depay is at that elite mental level right now. It's very interesting. And then you look at Atletico Madrid's midfield with Llorente, De Paul, and Koke. It's a brutal midfield. They will have enough firepower to take down Dortmund. So for me, it is Atletico Madrid. Moving on towards the next game, and that is going to be Barcelona versus PSG. Now, first things first, and I want to make it so clear to everybody here. PSG are favorites to me. And I'm saying that because PSG have Luis Enrique, they have Kylian Mbappe, they have Dembele. Supposedly Barcelona are not even supposed to be here in the first place. In the eyes of the media and in the eyes of like all of these other teams and their fans, they looked at Barcelona like if we are just group stage material. We're not round of 16 or quarterfinal material. So I'm just going to be putting it out there that yes, PSG are favorites to win. We also have to keep in mind that PSG went through the group of death. And so they had it hard from the beginning. And now they're here ready to take on FC Barcelona. Now, if for some reason Barcelona do beat PSG, which I hope they do because the Barcelona fan in me wants Barcelona to trash PSG like 5-6-0. If Barcelona go through PSG, they could possibly face Atletico Madrid or Borussia Dortmund in the semifinals, meaning that Barcelona, again, they have the easiest route, the easiest one. I'm not saying that's going to be easy. There's a huge difference between those two words, right? It's not going to be easy, but they do have the easiest route because they could have faced City, they could have faced Arsenal, they could have faced Real Madrid, or even even Bayern Munich. But no, we're here with the potential to face either Atletico Madrid or Dortmund if they go through PSG first. Now, a couple of key points regarding this game. Xavi and Luis Enrique are going to be linking up yet again. Luis Enrique did coach Xavi Hernandez back in 2015 for like one season, and now fast forward 7 years later, or maybe even 8 years later, Luis Enrique and Xavi Hernandez will meet again, but going against each other as coaches. So I believe that Xavi Hernandez knows Luis Enrique very well and his tactics, and I'm sure that Xavi Hernandez is going to want to counter what Enrique is going to be doing with PSG. Also, Dembele, he is going to be returning, and surprisingly, he's going to be returning not injured. Dembele has not gotten injured at all so far with PSG this season, and I'm sure that he's going to want to make a statement like all players like to do against their previous clubs. Like, for example, before the draw even was held, Lewandowski did say that he wanted to play against Borussia Dortmund because it would be like a romantic story, and he believed that he was going to be able to do something against Dortmund. It's just how it is. Like, for some reason, the player that does play against their previous club likes to show up and score goals. I'm sure Dembele is going to be having the exact same type of motivation. But this battle is very exciting to see Koundé go up against Mbappe or Cancelo and Kubarsi going up against Dembele. There's a lot that's going to need to get done by Xavi and Luis Enrique. Xavi Hernandez might even change some things. Maybe he might use Araujo as a right back to go up against Kylian Mbappe. In my opinion, I don't want that to go in that route. I just don't want to see it, because I think that when you say I want Araujo as a right back to go up against Kylian Mbappe like how he does against Vinicius, you're just going very individual and you're worried about just one player. I think that in this game, we have to take a much more collective approach and just say, let's just use what has been working throughout the whole season. Having Koundé as a right back, Araujo and Kubarsi center back pairing with Cancelo on the left back position, and we just minimize the amount of times Dembele and Kylian Mbappe receive the ball. We need to keep the ball. We need to have the possession. We need to be superior in every area on the pitch, no matter what, because Luis Enrique is going to want to have the majority of the possession, and we can't allow that because we are Barcelona. Barcelona have to be superior in all levels. We need to have the ball and make sure we take the ball away from Mbappe and Dembele as fast as possible, with Kubarsi, right, receiving the ball, making those long balls to just skip over the midfield and make those passes to either Rafinha or to either Joao Felix or whoever does start in this game. Now look at me, right? I'm going in depth in this match, and I told you guys that we were not, because we don't even know who's going to be available in a few weeks, but I can't take it. I'm already getting fired up about this game, but I know that Barcelona will be ready. Rafa Yuste, who is one of the VPs of the club, stated this: our mentality is to try to get to the semifinals. We have Lamine Yamal, who is an exceptional player, a huge squad, a coach who has the courage to call up young players. It will be a nice match. They have a coach we know very well, but our fans will help us reach the semifinals. And that is also another thing that I want us to like really grasp, right? Us as fans have to support Barcelona no matter what. No matter what happens in these next 3 to 4 games that lead up to the game against PSG, we cannot say that Barcelona don't have the capacity. Yes, I have just said that PSG are considered favorites, but that's just how it is on paper. But the moment we go into this game, we come in with full support and support Xavi Hernandez, because it has been working. Look at how Barcelona reacted against Napoli when the fans truly showed up and we came in fully firing. They came in with a fighting spirit, and the same thing is going to have to be done in the match against PSG. Now, as for the squad availability, from the PSG side, Hakimi is going to be missing the first leg against Barcelona because of suspension. As for Barcelona, we have a couple of players that might actually be unavailable for the next match against PSG in the second leg if these following players do get another yellow card, which is Lamine Yamal, Frenkie de Jong, Araujo, Christensen, Joao Felix, Ferran Torres, and Sergi Roberto. I think that Christensen and Araujo have to be very careful and not get a yellow card in the first leg so they don't have to miss the second leg, because we need them. We need Christensen as a pivot. We need Araujo to be paired with Kubarsi because they're forming a great center back pairing in the back line. Players like Sergi Roberto, Ferran Torres might not hurt us a lot, but for sure, we need Araujo and Christensen. And then comes Frenkie de Jong and Lamine Yamal. So it's really hard to predict this tie. Either way, it's going to be a very fascinating match. And the most fascinating thing about this is the fact that Barcelona and PSG are going to be having their first game at PSG. I said this on Twitter, and I said that the great thing is that our second leg is going to be at Barcelona's home. The same thing can be said with Real Madrid and City. As a Barcelona fan who is also a fan of Manchester City, I'm happy to see that Man City's second match is going to be at City's home. It's always an advantage to be having your second game at your home, because you can dissect the mistakes that you made in the first leg and then make it up in the second leg, and you know what to do, and you know how they're going to be playing against you in the second match, which is why it's such a huge advantage. So let's say that Barcelona do tie against PSG 2-2 or 1-1 at PSG home. All Barcelona have to do is to go into their own home with our own fans, dissect what we did wrong, know how PSG are going to be countering us, and then we go fully firing in that second leg. Very similar to how we approached Napoli. And it's also very similar to the match between Barcelona and PSG back in 2017 when Barcelona lost 4-0, right? 4-0 in the first leg, and we knew we had to come back in the second leg in front of our fans. And Barcelona were able to come back 6-1. It was probably one of the best comebacks in history, but that was a Barcelona that had a great fighting spirit. Recently, like in the most previous matches where Barcelona and PSG met, Barcelona did not have the fighting spirit. If anything, Barcelona were kids. They were just immature, they were just unmotivated, and it led towards Barcelona like losing against PSG badly. Like this was our backline last time we met PSG in the Champions League. We had Lenglet, Frankie de Jong, and Mingueza as our backline. That is just embarrassing. From a sporting standpoint, we were not prepared. From a mental standpoint, we were especially not prepared, but we cannot say the same thing today. I think that with Xavi Hernandez at the helm, with Laporta also as our president, we will definitely give a good fight back. So the one thing that I just want to pray about is just to pray that Barcelona are healthy by the time we do get into this game, because the one thing that we have not even talked about, and many of the people have not talked about yet, is the fact that we have an international break before the Champions League match. Do you guys know that? Like the Champions League match is going to be held on April 9th. Let's just say, for example, right, Spain have 2 games to play on March 22nd and March 29th, which will be against Colombia and Brazil. And I'm pretty sure that Kubarsi and Lamine Yamal are going to be there because the coach did say that. I'm happy to see that I get to enjoy Lamine Yamal and Kubarsi and call them up into the first team. So those 2 players are going to be in the games against Colombia and Brazil 7 to 8 days before we go into the Champions League first leg. And that's very, very nerve-wracking because I don't want any players to get injured during international break. And so I just pray that Barcelona are healthy and we continue with the momentum that we are currently seeing today. And we should take it one game at a time because our next game is going to be against Atletico Madrid, a team that we might potentially face if everything goes correct in the Champions League semi-final. So one game at a time, my friends. Moving on towards the next UCL draw, and that's going to be Arsenal versus Bayern. It's a classic Champions League draw. I'm going to be saying Arsenal goes over Bayern in this game because Bayern are in bad form with Tuchel not doing a great job in my opinion. I remember there was this moment in a game of Bayern where Tuchel was screaming at the players to push up, play faster, go forward, and none of the players were listening to Tuchel. They were just moving slow. They were not even passing the ball. And so to me, I just see Arsenal with much more unity. Now, historically, Bayern have always been better. Of course, they have in the previous 10 matches, Bayern have 5 wins, Arsenal have 3 wins, and they have 2 draws. But currently in this season, Arsenal are first place in the Premier League and Bayern Munich are in second place in the Bundesliga. Arsenal also have more wins. They concede much less, even though they score less goals than Bayern. But I believe it is because the Premier League is much more competitive. But defensively, Arsenal are the superior ones, and that's going to be very important. So for me, Arsenal goes over Bayern Munich. Moving on towards the last draw, and that is Real Madrid versus Manchester City. City and Real Madrid could not ask for a worst possible draw. Like, this is probably the worst draw both of these teams could get. This is the 4th time they're going to meet against each other since 2020. And to be honest, I'm starting to notice that there is a lot of Real Madrid fans that go to this channel, right, to Barca Media. And so to the Real Madrid fans, I want to say this. This is your moment to get revenge. You guys were spanked 4-0 last time you guys met. You guys were humiliated. And so if there's a small ounce of low confidence in you guys, in this club, right, Real Madrid, any small ounce of that, of you guys second guessing whether you guys could beat Man City, you guys will get drowned by Man City's football. You guys have to go against City with maximum confidence, believing that you guys are better in every aspect of the pitch, everything. Because City is a team that will mentally beat you down. They're going to want to have the ball. They're going to be taking the ball away from you. They're going to make you believe that you are the inferior. City will drown you in football if you let them. And what's funny is that Madrid fans are already putting out excuses for potentially losing against Manchester City, stating that they are rebuilding this year. The exact same thing that has been said by Barcelona fans. But the only difference is that our statement is true. For Real Madrid is not. Like, we are in a rebuilding year with many youngsters, with a young coach, and with Real Madrid is the exact opposite. You have set players and set star players, and you guys have been coached by Ancelotti for many years. There is no rebuild year for Real Madrid this year. Like, look at what these people have been saying. We're still in our rebuild period. Next year is the year. And somebody else said, every every year is a rebuild year until we get the turtle, meaning Kylian Mbappe. But no, like Madrid fans were making fun of Barcelona fans for saying that we had a rebuild year. Now they want to throw this out there only because they're facing City. There's just no way. And so the only thing that I'm going to be saying is this: Real Madrid are better this year than they were last year. City have decreased their level from last year. So I think that the margin between these two teams has closed down. And I do think that there is a greater chance for Madrid to go through if City don't come out with their A game. I strongly do believe that. But in the end, I do think that Pep Guardiola will do the work that is necessary and get City through and pass Real Madrid. And so that is it. That is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.